What's up, Facebook and YouTube? Both places. That's always fun. So today we're talking Canva. We love Canva. You guys know I love Canva. So last month we talked about designing Facebook posts and Facebook stuff on Canva. And I've had a lot of interest in Instagram. So that is what this next Canva series is going to be all about, is how to use Canva to design things for Instagram. So I'm going to share my screen with everyone real quick and we can go ahead and get started. So real quick, let me come back here real quick and just set a precedent for a second. Instagram is a very visual social media platform, and Canva is awesome. There's a bunch of stuff that you can do on Canva to make your stuff look really cool and drop logos and make videos and do all sorts of really awesome things. But you shouldn't be using Canva strictly when posting to Instagram. Instagram is all about like good, awesome quality pictures. So, for the 4th of July, we can obviously make something in Canva to put out and, wish everybody a happy Independence Day. But there's also like really no comparison when we take a picture of ourselves wearing an American flag t-shirt, like grilling on the barbecue or whatever, and wishing people a happy 4th of July that way. So this is not me giving you permission to only use Canva in your Instagram posts. This is me saying use Canva sometimes for your stuff on Instagram. So with that being said, I will jump back over to my screen here and we will get started. So we've got our little search bar up at the top. I type in Instagram. Here we go, Instagram post. This is what we're going to be talking about today. But of course, you can talk about your Reels, which I had someone ask me the other day, what the heck is Reels? It's Instagram's version of TikTok. So that's what that is. I will be talking about that in week 4 of this series. So stay tuned for that one. Instagram stories, we're talking about that one next week. But today we're going to talk about Instagram posts. So I click on that, it's going to give me the option to use a template or create a blank design. You guys know me, I like my blank designs. And because Instagram is a really great place to broadcast your different events, right? Like we've got the Instagram Canva class coming up next week, and it's talking about stories. I've had a lot of people ask me about like, well, what do I put on my story? Well, I'll tell you next week. But if I wanted to post out of the Square One Instagram page about that class, we could create something here for that. So I want to show you how I would create that. You've got your elements over here. That's where I like to start with looking at different graphics and photos and videos and all sorts of stuff. But if I type in the word Instagram and elements, well, it's going to give me a lot of, I can search for graphics and see stuff that way. But I really like this because I can use this as my background. And when people see that, they automatically think Instagram. So when they see it, when they're scrolling, they're going to say, whoa, what's that? Because it's brand recognition, right? So I like using that as background. You can obviously use all sorts of stuff as backgrounds. Of course, there is a background tab. So if you wanted to look at all the fun backgrounds that Canva has to offer, but I like to use this one as a background. And just to show you what I did there, I clicked and I drag over to that blue line right on the edge, and then I drop it. And now that is set as my background image. Another thing that Canva does that is really, really cool are these frames. And if you scroll down on the Elements tab, you keep scrolling. These frames are really neat because they let you crop an image to a specific shape. So what I like to do is use these devices. So we know that this looks like a smartphone. That's really cool. we work for a library, so a nice open book is nice and fun. You've got awesome, frames that you can play around with there. But for today, because Instagram stories, most people are using those from their phones, they're viewing those on their phones. I'm going to use this phone graphic. So I'm going to drop that right there. If you want to copy this, if you want more than one, you see that I resized it, right? You can grab that corner and resize. We can move things over. I want to make sure that it's centered. We can see my purple line comes up and down right there. So I'm going to drop that there. What happens if I pull another one in? You can see that the sizes are just a little off, right? And so I want to make sure that I get the exact same size. So if I click on my image that I dropped in there and I hit this button, this is a duplicate, it gives you an exact copy of what you just did. So I really appreciate that fact that Canva has that in there, because I mess with stuff so often, and if I want to have an exact replication, it's going to be impossible for me to recreate it. So it gives you the option to do that right there. I'm going to pull that over, and then I'm going to make it another one, and I'm going to pull that one over here. Real quick, I want to show you how to utilize these frames. So it's really cool that we've got this like iPhone in there a couple times, but it's rendered useless unless you drop some really fun pictures in there. So of course you can go to photos and use stuff that Canva has in there. I would suggest uploading your own media. You're going to hit that upload button and then upload media. This is brand new, you guys. This record yourself button I just discovered like 3 hours ago. And I was like, oh my God, what's that? And it's literally giving you the option to record something in the moment. So we're not going to do that because I don't really know what that's going to do to our live stream, but you've got the option for that there. But if you click your upload media button, I like uploading from my device, but if you wanted to upload from your Dropbox account or your Facebook account, you've got the option there. I know, happy accidents. That's great. Every time I get on Canva, there's something new and different, which is exciting for me. But I'm going to upload from my device. I took some selfies this morning, so, you guys can bask in the glory that is me at the library chilling. So those are going to upload, and as soon as they are loaded here, we can drop those in to our little phone. So you can see that I grab it, I just drop it over, and you see how it's not exactly centered, right? Like I want to make sure that I can see my face. All I have to do is double click and then drag that over. Bada bing, bada boom, there's my weird face. I'm going to do the same thing with this one. I'm going to drop that over. I'm going to move it just a little bit, and me sipping on some coffee. That one already looks pretty good. So if I wanted to move these around, of course I can do that. But I like the way that they're set up. You can see that I accidentally didn't center that. There we go. But I can click on one of these. If I hold my shift key down and click on the second one and then the third one, you can see that all three of these are selected. And if I hit that group button, now when I move these, I move them as a unit, which is going to help with spacing issues. So that is how to group things. It's how to use frames. I love a good frame. Ash, we're glad you're here. Don't worry, you haven't missed much, and there's plenty of class to go. And of course, you can always rewatch the beginning of this segment after the live stream is over. So the next thing I want to do is add some text in here, because this isn't saying much, right? So I want to make sure that I add in some text. I can add in a heading. Let's bring that down so we can see what we're typing. And let's say getting creative on Canva. And what I'm going to do is space that out. So Canva is on its own level, and I can bring this up to the top. I can move this down a little bit and really play around with my fonts here. So this is my default heading. Of course, I want Canva to stand out a little bit, so I'm going to actually make that particular word a little bigger by using my font button. Let's go bigger. Let's go bigger. And you can see that the spacing between those is a little wide. So if I click on this spacing option, it gives me the option to create more space or less space between those lines. So I'm going to pull that up a little larger and leave that just there. Another thing I can do is, play around with my font colors if we really want something to pop, but I don't know. I like the classic black. Black really pops on a light background. But of course, we can play around with the effects of that text and give it a shadow or give it some lift. That way it kind of pulls itself from the background a little bit. So, all right, that looks good. Another thing I want to do is let's go ahead and duplicate this. And that brings more text. Don't know what that was. It's going to give me another option for text down here. And I want to put in Instagram stories, and I'm going to pull that down so you can actually see it, and I can make that a little bigger. So this would be something that we can post on Instagram or Facebook. I mean, here's the thing, you can post it wherever you want to post it, but this specifically would work really well on Instagram. The only difference between posting on Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter are basically the sizes and the dimensions of the image itself. So we know that Instagram, the squares work out way better than any other size. You can post different size images on Instagram. A lot of people post, like they take their selfie and the image is vertical, and then you'd have to cut to make it fit into that square. Now you can shrink it, but what happens when you shrink it is you get the black bars, right? So we want to eliminate the black bars when people are looking at our content, and we do that by using this square frame. So this is something that we can post to Facebook. Again, we can play around with our fonts a little bit. You can see the white a little better on that darker background. And now, this is something that we can put out. And as far as copy goes, we don't want to overload our image with too much text. Anything that we really want to say, we can say in the copy of that post. So we can say, we've got this class coming up next week. If you've always wanted to know how to, design Instagram stories, but you don't know where to start, make sure to join us. Check out the link in our bio. You've probably seen that before. Link in bio means go to our page, and in our bio, there's a link to the event or a link to our website or a link to the blog. That's the only place on Instagram that links actually work. So if you copy and paste a link into the copy, it's literally not going to be clickable. So don't do that. Make sure that you've got the link in your bio on Canva. And that's what we're going to do with this one. We're going to make sure that people are able to click on that and go to our website to register for this class next week. So that is one Instagram post that we can do. For the sake of, playing around with Canva, let's do another one. So another great thing that you can utilize with Canva is like facts and statistics and just like little tidbits of information. You know your business better than anybody. You know your industry better than anybody. And sometimes people, but not sometimes, most times people are on social media because they're looking to be like entertained in some way. And so give them something that entertains them. I asked Erica earlier, I'm like, how many virtual programs did we do last year in 2020? And she said, she had to go through the databases and everything, but we did 95 programs, and 95 programs in a pandemic year I think it's pretty impressive. So if we wanted to share that information with our audience, we can make an Instagram post about it. So the first thing I want to start off with is an element. Let's exit out of here and let's start with a shape. Now you'll see when I click a shape, it's going to default to my brand colors. That first brand color listed here. So that is a real huge benefit of making sure you've got your brand kit set up. So we can see that our square one colors, we've got our blue, we've got our black, and we've got our white, but it's always going to default to that color. So it's less work essentially. So I'm going to make that circle a little bigger, maybe a little bigger. It's to trend today. And I'm going to throw some text in this circle. let's say, did you know, question mark, and make that a little larger, pull that up here. And I really want the 95 to pop, right? I want people to see that first and then look at the rest of the text and see where that 95 ties in. So go back to my text. I am going to make it really big. So I'm going to type my 95 in first. Let's make it a little more manageable there. And let's like really blow it up. So let's bring that 95 over. Still not big enough. That's more like it. All right, so 95 looks a little flat. So I'm going to go to my effects, which is how we change out our text a little bit. And this is not one I use frequently because it sometimes makes it hard to read. But this splice is pretty cool because it not only outlines, but it also gives a shadow. And you can change the color of that shadow. So this is like really eye-catching. So I'm gonna use that splice effect on this 95. I'm gonna put that right there. Move this up a little bit so I've got lots of space for my other text that I want to put in there. Yeah, Ash, absolutely. Like fun facts images are really great. Again, this is not for every single day. People don't really want to get on your Instagram account and just see stuff that you've created in Canva all the time, but it is good for between those photos that you're going to end up posting as well. So I'm going to add some more text here. That way we give some context to this 95. I'm going to say, did you know Square One provided, I'm going to drop that down low. I'm going to duplicate that text and I'm going to pull the rest of it down here. 95 virtual programs in 2020. And I can just leave it just like that. So this is one way to, throw some facts out there. You can do this in any way you possibly want to. It doesn't have to be this circle. It doesn't have to be a square. It doesn't have to be anything. You could literally just put text on here and play around with it and, make a fun design. So this is honestly pretty boring. So I'm going to jazz it up a little bit by giving it a background. I'm going to go to photos and I'm going to type in virtual meeting and throw one of these in the background. That way it gives it some depth. It's a little more eye-catching. But sometimes when you are playing around with backgrounds, it takes away from what's in front. So what I'm going to do with this image is I'm going to go ahead and select my background. You can kind of see that the blue line has it selected. And I'm going to use a filter. Now, these are just like Instagram filters, right? You can click on them and they, play with the contrast and the brightness and all sorts of things. But I'm going to use this grayscale one. That way it gives it a little more depth. You can play with the intensity. You can make it like really grayed out or just like a little bit, but that seems like a nice middle ground. And then what I'm also going to do is go to my adjust button. So filters are predetermined. And then you've got your adjust button, which allows you to edit even further. So I'm going to actually adjust the brightness on this and make it just a little brighter. That way, the blue and the text really pops from that. So that would be something that we could post on Instagram as well. And of course, we'd want to give a little more context in the copy of that post. And always direct people to the link in your bio. So did you know that Square One provided 95 virtual programs in 2020? Luckily, this year, we're going to outdo that number, see what all of our upcoming events in the link in our bio, and boom, they are off to that page, right? So this is another way that you could, utilize Canva on Instagram. All right, let's keep it moving here. So I know in the other classes, I've talked about using Canva like for Facebook posts, and I've mentioned this really cool thing that Canva does, but I'm not actually sure that I've actually like showed you how to use it. So I'm going to show you how to use this really cool function. They're called smart mockups. Now this is going to be really, really awesome for people who sell a product or they sell something that they want to see in real life. So This works really well for Instagram because if I sell t-shirts, right, I'm not going to take a picture of the t-shirt that's like just laid out on a table or on a chair or on the floor, whatever. Like I want a picture of somebody wearing the t-shirt, right? So I want to make sure that those pictures are what's going to get posted on Instagram. So you always need to start with a design. So I am going to start with, let's go to our logos real quick. Folder, shared, lots of stuff here. Let's go back. That's not where I want to be. Logos, here we go. All right, so let's do our square one logo. Gotta love it. All right, so if we wanted to see what this logo looks like in real life situations, I would click on that design and go to effects. Now this is going to give you lots of different options. You've got a background remover, which is really cool. You can kind of play around with the colors of it, but smart mockups, this is what I'm talking about. If you click see all, we can see that we can take this design and put it in real life situations, right? So I can put this on a phone, on a computer, on a greeting card, on a t-shirt. And if you continue to scroll down, there's lots of different options here. So I'm going to keep scrolling until I find some t-shirts because I want to see what this is going to look like on a t-shirt. Let's see. This guy looks like he's having a good time. Okay, so I want you to look at this really quick. It's taken my logo, our logo, and it's blown it up all over this dude's t-shirt, and you can't really tell what the heck it is. So if you see these buttons on that t-shirt design, if we click on that, it's going to give us options for what that logo looks like on that t-shirt. So I'm going to click, instead of fill, if I hit fit, all of a sudden it fits more on that t-shirt. And if you want it even smaller, which I don't know anybody who would buy a t-shirt that looks like that, you can play around with the size of the image. So I'm going to make it way smaller, not that small, blow it up a little bit. And then you can, let's move it up a little bit. There we go. All right. So this guy's wearing a white shirt with a Square One logo. Looks like a really cool hipstery guy, gonna grab some coffee, and he's obviously cool because he's a library supporter. So another thing we can do is play around with the background of that image, or the shirt color rather. So if I wanted to give him a green shirt, a blue shirt, whatever, we can do that. So nice and branded. So let's go ahead and apply that. And then we can obviously make this a little larger to fit our screen here. So that's what he looks like. If you wanted to see your design in a way that looks like this, and this is one option for you to do that. This is not for people who are just selling t-shirts. It's not for people who are like just selling products. This works in a variety of ways. So I just wanted to show you how cool this is, but I will show you maybe a more applicable process for you and your business. So if I add a page, let's upload another image here real quick so I can show you what a website would look like. So another awesome resource the library has is it's called LinkedIn Learning Now, formerly lynda.com. And we talk about it a lot because it's super awesome, but it's a way for you to learn new skills online for free. And we suggest it to pretty much everybody in the entire world. So this is a screenshot that I took from the website that people would log on to. And I just uploaded that to my media. If I click on that image and I go to my effects, I can go to my smart mockups and I can put this on a computer as I scroll down a little bit. Let's see which one looks fun. Maybe this guy drinking some coffee. That is a woman. I apologize. And you can see that the words are a little cut off. So I do want to make sure that I go in and edit, and I can hit fit so we can have that full screen on there. Or of course I can, go custom and play around with the size a little bit. looks good to me. So we can apply that. And this is maybe more relevant for somebody with a service that they're providing, and they want to, maybe they have a new website that they just got, or they have a coupon code that they want blasted out there. This is a more visually appealing way to do that by inserting those images in the smart mockup. So of course we can make this a little bigger, move it over a little bit. And this is something that we could put out of our Instagram account and say, if you didn't already know, you can learn how to use QuickBooks using LinkedIn Learning. If you need a tutorial, check out the link in our bio, and boom, we've done it. There was the call to action. And this image is so much better looking than if I had an Instagram post that said, check out LinkedIn Learning, right? This is not cute, guys. If somebody posted this on their Instagram account, it's not okay. Not all right. So we want to make sure that we understand that Instagram is very visual. It's all about the aesthetic. And so this aesthetic versus just typing something and getting them to reach out and, hope that somebody doesn't scroll right past that. We want to make sure that we are really thinking about our customer in terms of what they're looking for and what they're scrolling through. So we need to delete that. Nobody wants to see that. So we've got our, this is just a way for you to maybe broadcast other things that you're doing. So whether you have a physical product that you want to put out there, you want to show people how to utilize your website. If you just launched a YouTube channel, like, you can see the different ways that you can use this particular smart mockup. I am going to show you one more thing really quickly. I'm going to go to photos because I don't really have time to find a headshot. But if you've had a headshot taken and it's maybe not the best headshot in the world, or you want to do some work on the background, honestly, like, this is Canva, so all the headshots are really great. Okay, perfect. If you are Mr. Cat here, and you're like, man, I really like the way I look in this headshot, but I wish that that blue background wasn't so bright, or I wish that the background was a little different. So I'm going to click on the image here, go to my effects, and hit that background remover. And Canva is going to do its magic. It's going to take that background out, and it's going to give me the option to change the background that I've been working with. And while that's working, I do want to show you, let me just show you what that looks like from a not cat perspective. You guys know Xander Winkle with the Innovation Center. He sent us a headshot that he, wanted to see what we could do with the background. And so if you've got a headshot that you want to, play around with, this is what we've done with his headshot, is really just play around with the background and, switch out the different colors. We've put him in an industrial kitchen, we've put him in different scenarios. Also, you can get really fun with it and just move yourself around and put yourself in a food truck or in a kitchen sink or a mason jar. So you've got those options too. So anyway, play around with Canva, play around with all the different effects that you can do. Let's give this cat maybe I don't know, where should this cat be? The zoo, maybe? Yeah, I mean, could be hanging out with some penguins. You can see that you can really play around and make this whatever you want to do. So all you have to do is search in that photo. We can go and just look at backdrops. We can put the cat in an office. We can put the cat on a blue background. We can put the cat on a white wall. So there's lots of different options, but play around with it. We are really right at our time. So thank you guys for joining me for these tutorials. I love Canva. You guys love Canva too, because you wouldn't be watching this class if you didn't have like this like interest in Canva. And you probably also have this like desire to do Instagram better, and that's great. Like we want you to have that desire. We want you to get better at those social media platforms, and one way you can do that is through Canva and playing around with some graphic design stuff. And it's, it's fun. You can go down the rabbit hole pretty quickly, as I did when I was playing with Xander's headshot. But the more you play around with it, the more you're going to learn it. So feel free to drop any other questions you have in the comments, and I'll make sure that I get to those as soon as I possibly can. If you guys have ideas of what you want to see in the future as it pertains to Canva, and what type of content you want to see, what type of designs you want created, let me know as well. Another thing that I want to start doing is I want to, like nobody's really going to use these designs I just made. So if you want a design created for your business, make sure to comment, and we will do a random drawing, and I will create a design specifically for you in some of our next courses coming up. So that's a little incentive to keep coming back and to keep watching some stuff, and we can create some really fun designs together. So that being said, please fill out the survey. Megan will make sure that gets dropped in the comments. Those surveys help us continue to put on these programs, and they let us know what type of content you're looking for. So this was a fun little tutorial to do with you guys. Again, we're doing Instagram stories next week. So if Instagram stories, one, confuses you, or you don't even know where to start with your Instagram stories, then make sure to check it out. We will talk Canva, and we'll talk a little bit of the logistics of posting to those Instagram stories as well. So thank you guys. I appreciate it. I'm going to stop sharing this so you don't have to keep staring at the cat. I don't think you are, but regardless. All right. So please fill out the survey. Thanks for joining us. Hope you guys have a great lunch hour. Eat something great. Fill out the survey again, and I will see you guys next week. Peace.